Once upon a time, in a quiet mountain monastery surrounded by tall pines and singing streams, there lived an old monk. Every morning before sunrise, he would wrap his worn robe tightly against the mountain chill and walk down a rocky trail to fetch water from a spring deep in the valley below. He carried a long bamboo pole across his shoulders, and at each end hung a wooden bucket. One bucket was strong and perfect, while the other had a small crack near its side. Every day, as the monk climbed back up the steep path, the cracked bucket leaked water, drip by drip, until half of it was gone before reaching the monastery. The perfect bucket was proud of its strength. It often looked at the cracked one with a smirk and said mockingly, "You should be replaced. You can't even do the one thing you were made for." The cracked bucket never replied. It simply hung low, ashamed of its flaw. Each step felt heavier than the last. It hated the sound of the dripping water that marked its failure with every drop. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The cracked bucket carried its burden of guilt in silence, believing it was useless. It often thought to itself, "I only make things harder for the monk. He deserves better than me." Each morning, as the golden light touched the mountaintops, the bucket would watch the perfect one gleam proudly under the sun, while it hid in its shadow, embarrassed and broken inside. One morning, unable to hold back its sorrow any longer, the bucket whispered softly as the monk filled it with water, "Master, I'm so sorry. Every day I lose half of what I carry. Your efforts are wasted because of me. I wish I could be like the other bucket, strong and whole." Tears rolled down its eyes, each drop reflecting the pain of countless silent days. The old monk paused. He looked at the bucket with kind, gentle eyes that carried the wisdom of many seasons. A small smile appeared on his face. "My dear friend," he said quietly, "tomorrow, I want you to notice something on our way back." The next morning, as the monk began his uphill journey, the cracked bucket did as he said. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of pine and damp earth. The monk's footsteps were slow and steady, and the bucket swung gently by his side. For the first time, the cracked bucket looked closely at the path it had traveled so many times before. To its surprise, it noticed something beautiful. The side of the path where it hung was lined with wildflowers. Yellow, white, and purple blossoms swayed gently in the morning breeze. Butterflies danced from petal to petal, and bees hummed softly among the blooms. The cracked bucket stared in wonder. "Master," it whispered, "how did this happen? Why are all the flowers only on my side of the path?" The monk's smile deepened as he stopped for a moment to admire the view. "Because of you," he said kindly. "I always knew about your crack. Months ago, I scattered flower seeds along this side of the trail. Every day while we walked back, your dripping water gave them life. You didn't just carry water, you nourished the mountain itself." The bucket trembled with emotion. "So, I wasn't wasting water all this time?" The monk shook his head softly. "Not at all, my friend. You were giving something precious to the earth. You thought your flaw made you less, but it was your flaw that brought beauty to this mountain. Without you, these flowers would never have bloomed for the first time." The cracked bucket felt a warmth deep inside, a feeling it had never known before. The shame that once weighed it down began to fade, replaced by quiet pride and gratitude. As the monk continued up the trail, the morning sun broke through the trees, lighting up the flowers like golden flames. The cracked bucket looked at its reflection in a pool of water by the path and smiled. It realized that even though it was imperfect, it still had a purpose, a beautiful one. We all carry cracks, mistakes, scars, or weaknesses that sometimes make us feel unworthy. Yet those very flaws shape who we are and how we touch the world. The monk's leaking bucket reminds us that our imperfections can become our greatest strengths if we choose to see them differently. What you consider broken may be exactly what someone else needs. You don't have to be perfect to be valuable. You just have to be you. Remember this: you don't need perfection. You need perspective. Your pain doesn't define your weakness. It reveals your strength. Embrace your imperfections. They're where your inner light shines brightest. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more inspiring stories.